What's happening, peoples? We got another video here. We finna get straight to it. I'm on TikTok now. I'm not on YouTube Shorts. And again, I'm trying to reach 6,000 subscribers, so please help me out by liking and subscribing. Please leave a comment, tell me how bad I'm doing. Yeah, I know. This is not for children. This is not for children again. And let's get on to this journey, y'all. It's your boy, Mr. Pop. Shh.
Bones in her hand laughing. The other lady had bones in her hand laughing like she already won. Then everything went quiet. Next day, the woman was gone, just gone. I didn't ask no questions, but I noticed one of the cows, same one from before, started acting strange, looking at me like it knew me, looking too human. And here's the part my grandma told me much later. She tried to bury a charm under the porch, one of them old hexes that rots the roots of a place, makes the trees bleed sap and animals forget their names. My grandma dug it up with her bare hands and burnt it before it took hold. That's what started the fight. She ain't bring that cow back from the dead. She turned that woman into it. She said some witches cast spells, some break them, and some become what they deserve. That cow still in the yard, just watching. The other lady had bones in her hand laughing like she already won.
Hold on. Yeah, let me get that part one up. That seemed kind of fire.
My grandma was a witch. She was a witch, but she wasn't a spell making or hurting people or making people give her money witch. She was the kind of witch that had strength, real strength. One day I was walking to school and I saw one of her cows just laying stiff in the field like it fell out the sky. I walked back home to tell her, and she ain't say nothing. Just tied her scarf on her head and walked out with me to see the cow. Then grabbed it by its ankles and started dragging it all the way home. That cow was heavy, but she didn't stop. Just kept pulling. The closer she got to the house, the more that cow started coming back. First a twitch, then a breath. By the time we got to the front steps, that cow shook his head and stood up like it never died at all. Then one day, this lady knocked on the door saying she lived close by and wanted to borrow some pecans. My grandma gave her a whole jar. They got to talking, laughing, sitting out on the front porch drinking tea like they'd been friends forever. But not long after, strange stuff started happening. People in town started acting funny. One man gave his whole paycheck away and didn't remember doing it. Another woman's baby cried for 5 days straight. Folks got sick, dogs disappeared, and I swear the air got heavy. I asked my grandma if the lady was a witch too. She looked at me and said, she is, but not the good kind. Turns out, that woman was the kind of witch who takes, made folks hand over money, made people sick, put shadows in places they didn't belong. One night I woke up and saw my grandma outside. They were yelling in a language I ain't never heard. The other lady had bones in her hand laughing like she already won. Then everything went quiet. My grandma was a witch. She was a witch, but she wasn't a spell making or hurting people or making people give her money witch.
That's crazy. I know y'all done figured out that's AI, right? Oh, they got some more. Oh, shit, they got some more. All right. Should I keep going? Should I try to see? Fuck it.
They say the woods don't whisper, they borrow voices. And if one ever calls you by name, pray it ain't sounding like your mama. See, there was a boy, 20 years old, went by Trey, lived out in the sticks with his grandma deep in southern Utah. His grandma had taken sick, ended up in the hospital, so Trey was just staying to help out. Now, Trey ain't no stranger to hard times. Grew up in a concrete jungle, used to sirens and street lights. But that country silence, that stillness out there in the woods, it was different. Got under his skin, especially at night when the stars felt too close and the trees too quiet. His grandma, strong in her spirit, told him, if you hear something call your name after dark, Don't answer. And don't you dare follow it. Trey laughed it off, said she was just trying to scare him. Then came that one night. He was sitting on the porch, watching the trees sway real peacefully. Then he heard it.
That shit
Trey.
scared shit out of me.
Soft. From the tree line. He paused. Thought maybe it was Grandma. Then again, Trey, baby, come here. They say the woods don't whisper, they borrow voices. And if one ever calls you by... But this time, it was laughing, mocking him. And then he saw it, something move. Not walk, not crawl, just shift. His face, his grandma's face, stretched too wide, smiling with too many teeth. Grandma grabbed his arm, whispered, "Don't run. It likes when you run." They backed into the house slow, locked every door, burned sage till the air was thick with it. Trey didn't sleep that night. Next day, Grandma handed him a pouch and said, "You got city sense. That thing out there, it don't play by your rules. It wears the people you love, makes you come to it." And since then, Trey don't go near trees after sundown. Don't sit on no porch. Don't crack no windows, not even a curtain twitch. Folks in town started noticing. Said he walked different now, eyes always moving, like he was listening for something the rest of us couldn't hear. Then one night, about 3 weeks later, Grandma didn't come to church. Folks checked on her and found the front door wide open. No struggle, no signs, just her shoes neatly by the bed. Trey said she probably wandered off, seemed unbothered. But here's the part that'll twist your spine. The real Grandma, she passed 2 years before Trey ever came to town. That house had been empty. Ain't nobody ever sent him there. So if you ever meet a boy named Trey and he offers you a place to stay out in the woods, don't go. Cause some skinwalkers don't just wear your face. They wear your whole dang life. But this time, it was laughing, mocking him. And then he saw...
That's fire. I like that. I like that. I like that. Let me give it back.
The other lady had bones in her hand laughing like she already won. Then everything...
Immigrants.
That's not supposed to be next.
The other lady had...
Immigrants.
Any of them. If they're so much
Put it like
thorough
this.
than us,
this.
how come they don't do better in their homeland?
Tariq, let's be honest. I'm telling you, because there's a lack of opportunity in the homeland that you're from, the people who
Then how
do
come
come
they
over
don't
here.
create the opportunity like we did? We created the opportunities here.
I mean, also the white man did.
That's a
Well,
fact.
who made the white man create it? They didn't want to give us nothing.
We're not
Let's be very clear.
We're not taking away
It's
from,
facts.
from,
All
from the
right,
contribution of
you can
like,
sit there and pop your collar
No,
to
we
the white
won't-
man.
we won't.
No, the white man was made to say, "Hey, man, we ain't drinking
No,
from
no.
no damn water fountain no
Hold on,
more."
hold on, but
It
we-
was us making them say, "Hey, we ain't playing that game no more."
But are you down to say? Are you literally saying that all the opportunities that black immigrants that come over here to take advantage of were created by foundational Black Americans?
Black Americans were pushing the envelope for that to happen. White people did not want to give us or you opportunities. They didn't even want black immigrants coming here. You understand that? They didn't want Asian immigrants coming here. We fought for them too.
To a certain extent, I agree with you.
Right.
But then
That's
I
a
then
fact.
have
Ain't talking about I
the-
agree with
the
you.
Conversation that moves it forward to say, well, if you guys, if historically, based on all the leaders and the history of the FBAs here, why do I feel, or maybe it's just me, and maybe clearly I think we differ on this point. Why do the current lot of FBAs? I feel like they don't take advantage of those opportunities created
They
by
do.
their ancestors
Okay, look,
to a lesser extent.
Who's the Caribbean version of Birdman? Birdman's foundational Black American. Puffy, foundational Black American. Eazy-E was a foundational Black American. Rest in peace to Eazy. Tony Draper. Jay Prince, foundational Black American. These are very well-to-do black men, got it on their own, took advantage of the opportunities that their lineage created. You don't have a Caribbean version of that. See, y'all like to compare yourselves.
I mean, there's a bunch of people that if you really look,
What's the Caribbean version of it?
okay, of those people which are one-on-ones, but like if you
They're
look,
not one
if
of
you-
those. It's a lot of black, foundational Black American
I know a lot-
CEOs who are
I know
thorough.
a lot of black CEOs and executives that we have the same. Me and Steve Stout, who his lineage also tracks back to the Caribbean,
Right.
And he echoes the same thing to me. He says, "There's just something about immigrants."
Any of them. If they're so much
Put it like
thorough
this.
than us, how come they don't do better in their homeland?
Tariq, let's be honest. I'm telling
Man, I want to see some more of that.
They say water don't hold memory.
Hold on. I gotta hit the like on that
Immigrants.
shit.
Any of them, if they're so
I
much
like that. I
thorough
like
than us,
that. I
how
like
come
this
they
type of shit.
They say water don't hold memory. But Lake Lanier, that water remembers everything. Before Lake Lanier was water, it was Oscarville, Georgia, a thriving black town. I'm talking over 1,000 black folks, running their own schools, their own hospitals, banks, farms, everything. They didn't just live there, they built it from the ground up. Oscarville was black excellence before we even had a name for it. Education, business, medicine, right in the heart of Forsyth County. But in 1912, the mobs came. One accusation turned into violence, then came the threats, then the fire. They drove every black resident out, took the land, and left it hollow. Then, like they was trying to wash away the past, they flooded it. In the 1950s, the government built Lake Lanier right over Oscarville's bones. Stuff happened in this lake all the time. People vanish, boats crash. Some say it's cursed. Others say the town never left. You can't bury that kind of history without it clawing its way back up. The school is still down there. So is the church, the bank, the graveyard. You just can't see it. But Oscarville remembers. Still down there, waiting. And if you come out here smelling like them folks that took it all, their blood, their name, their kin, something down there might just reach up and take you back.
Hey,
They
y'all.
say water don't hold memory.
Hey, y'all. I fuck with
In
y'all,
Lake
man.
Lanier, that water remembers everything. Before Lake Lanier was water, it was Oscarville.
This is insulting, quite frankly.
For that then.
Yeah.
What does transgenderism in public look like to you?
It's allowing men to be treated for the purposes of the law as women. It's men taking 900 sports trophies from women in
Okay,
recent
that doesn't
years.
happen.
And
They didn't take 900.
They took 900. There's a report just came out from the United Nations, actually. 890 trophies and medals
We all trust the UN, don't we?
across 600 women who were competitors, across 29 different sports and 400 competitions. That came out like yesterday.
And they deserved them.
Oh my God.
It didn't happen, and they deserve them. Okay,
That's
That was
crazy.
the fastest turnover from it didn't happen to they deserve them I've seen in a very, if ever, like in a very, very long time. I think that's that's the fastest turnaround yet on that
That's
issue.
crazy.
It didn't happen, which means you know deep down it's not okay. To
Oh, my bad.
God has given men a capacity.
you will never be. So let's go ahead. Turnaround yet on that issue. It didn't happen, which means you know deep down it's not okay. To well, they deserve them. Okay.
Is the logic I hear from the pro-trans crowd. Yeah.
Thank you. They do deserve them
There you
because
go.
I'm sure they followed the specifications for the sport, and that's why they were there in the first place.
And
That's
let's
crazy.
be honest, these people are making super shit arguments. And the fact that they're not being voted out sooner by this circle of individuals is purely based on
That's crazy.
their identity. It's because we must give trans people the floor, even if everything they're saying is utter BS, because their identity places them on this pedestal of being given the time to speak. They must speak. They must have the floor. You would have been voted off in 2 seconds if you were a white man going up to Michael Knowles to make these arguments. But because you're a trans woman, we have to let you just speak your foreign language to us and make these baseless arguments about nothingness for as long as you feel like.
Hello.
Hello. So I think I want to start off by asking you what your solution is to, like, the word eradicating. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean by that?
Well, the word
Not again. I knew it was 3 in a row, but just to see it happen again, it's not again.
literally means to pull up by the root. So not just to have some half measure where you say, you know, okay, we're only going to trans kids after the age of 9, but not under the age of 9. Okay, we're only going to let men who identify as women go into this bathroom, but not that sports team or whatever. I don't think a half measure makes any sense. In fact, I think a lot of the conservative arguments.
You're not answering my question. What's the solution?
He did actually, in fact, answer your question.
That's what I was just about to say.
Before you interrupted.
I was just about to say that he already answered it. You want clarification of what the answer is. You want more. Let me stop.
Him, which Never mind. Let me shut my mouth. Let me shut up.
It means to uproot it. We didn't.
I know that's not feel the
I
same way,
don't know
but
how
I
you're gonna
shouldn't.
uproot an entire
I shouldn't shut up. I should say what? No, I should shut the fuck up.
higher percentage of people.
I'm not uprooting people. I would return American public law to what it was before roughly 2015.
I don't understand the perspective of how you or the Conservative Party is going to make any sort of progress in eradicating an entire percentage. I think it's just
We're not eradicating people. You're trying to say that because it.
Yeah,
it
that's
makes
what I'm
sense.
saying.
No, I said I want to eradicate a whole ideology of transgenderism.
trans people. That is going to be people that you are
No,
taking.
like if I want.
No.
Please.
No,
Again,
crazy.
If this was a white man, all the flags would be up. You'd be voted out because you're not engaging with the logical centers of your brain. He's not saying he wants to eradicate people. It's a very clever argument that the left would use to make somebody like him appear to be. They're calling him a Nazi. It's whatever.
He talking about the ideology, the thought of this shit. Like, y'all promoting it. You know it's different and it's weird. That's why he's trying to force us to feel the same way you feel when it's only a small minority of the population that even fuck with this shit. And if you're not out promoting it like it's regular, like it's something to do, younger people are gonna try that shit and someone probably gonna like it and end up try to do that crazy shit. So if you promoting it, of course, if you promoting it, that means you're gonna gain new people who wanna know nothing about it, know something about it and be like, oh. Like, that's why they try to go after the kids, because they know they can't make no kids. They try to influence let me stop.
Whatever phrase you want to use, a fascist, a Nazi, a eugenicist, or whatever. He's saying, I want to get rid of the idea of transgenderism, the gender theory that is backing that idea. Things like a critical race theory or critical feminist theory that help these things push through further, that help them propagate within society. These are the ideas that we must eradicate. You will never be.
God has given men a capacity and a responsibility that women do not have, and we have to be honest about it. We can say he's not a man, he doesn't know how to lead, he doesn't whatever. There's still a capacity inside of him that God did not give us as women. And one of the biggest examples that I can give of that, imagine it's raining and you're in New York City. And if you've ever been to New York City or in France and it starts raining and...
Oops, my bad.
Like that? Bought it off an old tenon one that's folded. Got the radio, too.
Killed his mother at birth. Enoch.
Say, that's a nice angle. Enoch. So, what do you need?
What the fuck?
I would like to apologize for my appearance. I've fallen onto some hard times of late, but I do have an act that I know would be of great value to you.
You were a carny, huh?
Well, I top line the Mentalism Act for 2 years. 2 shows a day. Sold out.
Mentalism.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, brother. Some other outfit maybe, but not us.
Well, if I may, I would love to demonstrate for you.
Jesus. You smell like you pissed your pants. I don't hire no boozers. Now beat it. Go on, beat it. Oh, you like that? Bought it off an old tenon.
If you want to break with these imperialist forces, it's simple. We denounce the agreements. Everything starts from there. I think the example of Chad in any case is tangible. They started by denouncing the agreements. Otherwise, if we don't denounce the agreements, just saying that the bases leave, we haven't done anything. Because the problem lies in the colonial agreements, the defenses that have been signed since independence. The most dangerous is not the one you see in the bases. The most dangerous are the military advisors. Military advisors exist in all these countries. They existed in Burkina as well until the end of 2022, until we took responsibility. And who are these military advisors?
Yeah,
they are the ones who are supposed to implement France's policy here. They must work to make our armies very weak so that France can always have the argument to exist here. Under their influence, they had succeeded.
Fuck. No, I don't want to do that.
Hey, buddy, how we doing?
If you want to break with these imperialists, and who are these military advisors? They are the ones who are supposed to implement France's policy here. They must work to make our armies very weak so that France can always have the argument.
Africa, get your shit together. I see you. I see you. I don't know who this guy is, but he talking like he on his shit. That look good, man. That look good, my African brothers. Look, he got the guy in the back with the sword. I see you. I see you. Where the guns at, though? Where your guns? Well, you need to see some guns. You got a nice watch on. All your uniforms is clean. Where's your guns? All right, let me get back to this. My bad, y'all.
To exist here. Under their influence, they had succeeded. Our sentinels were therefore standing guard with sticks. That's what France wants from our armies. When we reach this stage, we have no choice but to want them to come and settle. But the Burkinabe army managed to get rid of the military advisors. Unfortunately, I think that in 2019, after Operation Otapono, where the French saw that the Burkinabe army still had the capacity to respond to terrorists, they called the chiefs of staff in France. They instructed him to reintegrate the military advisors throughout the structure. Well, they did not agree. But upon returning to the country, the politicians instructed him to accept the military advisors. And that's when the military advisors returned to the Burkinabe army in 2019.
All right, y'all. I'm about to stop this one. Do another one in about 30 minutes. So I got to keep them short and sweet. You figure deal me? Y'all be easy.